Sri Lanka is called the Green Paradise, the Lucky Land and even the Garden of Eden, also the Teardrop of India, simply due to its location in the south of India where it reminds us of a small offspring of the grand Hindu state. I am the journalist Sandijs Semjonovs, and here I am together with the operator Oto Ailts and a friend from childhood, Janis Kirpitis. I am Jānis. Once I lived and worked here for 2 years. Now I've returned here again to see how the life of Sri Lanka has changed in 10 years after the tsunami and civil war. We will also visit the primary schools, which were built with donations from Latvia. So we will see a lot of interesting things here.
Sākam mēs ar galvaspilsētu Kolombo. Dodamies šodien uz interviju pie ministra.
Naktsdzīve mūs arī gaida, vai?
Naktsdzīve mūs gaida pārbraucienos starp dažādām Sri Lankas pilsētām.
Tātad 7 dienas mūsu piedzīvojums Sri Lankā var sākties.
Jā, tieši tā.
Throughout the next days, the driver Kalinga will be with us. Quite instantly, we made his name sound Latvian, and now we call him simply Ķirpītis. I am in Sri Lanka for the first time. I've heard about this country because of the Tamil Tigers. Since 1983, they were fighting with the army of the government to secede from Sri Lanka. The war was actually the reason why, for many years, tourists avoided visiting Sri Lanka. Now the situation has changed. They call Sri Lanka also the Pearl of the Indian Ocean. There are spa resorts built in the south, and many travellers from Latvia also come here to see the elephants and relax near the Indian Ocean. The beaches of Sri Lanka are special for surfers, and some of them are considered even the best surfing places in the world. When the ocean is calm and there is the perfect surfing waves, swimming should be done with special awareness to avoid getting under the water. Interesting that, unlike us, they mainly swim in clothes. In holidays, it's crowded here. However, the real trademark of Sri Lanka is tea. Sri Lanka is the 3rd largest tea producer in the world. No wonder they are called the Ceylon country. Also, the Ceylon tea name comes from here. We will definitely visit the tea farm, but later.
Nu ko, ieziežamies ar pretsaules krēmu, ārā ir plus 40 grādi. Šobrīd dienas saulē pat nevar redzēt ēnu, tu stāvi, ja? Un tas...
Ēnu vispār neredz, jo saule ir tieši augšā, ja mēs esam pie ekvatora. Atšķirībā no Latvijas, kur saulīte riņķo apkārt zemeslodes augšējai daļai, tad Šrilankai viņi iet tā apkārt katru dienu, un 12:00 ēnas nav.
One of the peculiarities of Sri Lanka is the never-ending celebrations. We have arrived in the day when the full moon is celebrated. This is a special holiday for Buddhists. There are many celebrations and holidays in Sri Lanka due to Buddhists, Hindus, Muslims and Catholics on the same island. Today in the parks of Colombo, there are different games and attractions for children. Here, with tied hands, you need to eat the scone of bread as fast as possible. In contrast to Europe, they celebrate the New Year in April. From my last visit, which was 7 years ago, I still have very bright memories from the celebrations of the Light of Buddha. That was in May. The city shined up in countless colours during the night.
Šodien mēs arī Kolombo tiekamies ar doktoru Anilu, kurš ir tieši tā, kurš ir ieguvis doktora grādu Latvijā. Jā, šrilankiešu jaunieši un ārsti Latviju atceras un pazīst ar labajām izglītības iespējām.
How are you, Kayumziet? Then my name is Anil.
Mani sauc Anil, yeah.
Anil studied in Latvia for 6 years. In the beginning, he wanted to study in London, but studies in Latvia, Riga, Sandijs University turned out to be cheaper. Our studies of medicine are said to be of a high level, so he says.
Very tough because they really squeezed us. They were all good. Later I found out being strict made me the person who I am today, so I liked it. When they're strict, because even after coming back here I worked.
A lot of his friends stayed in Latvia and he has positive memories about our country.
They had nice Belashi was there, which I started right on first day. And then went over for Sashliks, which is good.
And what about beer and girls?
Oh, beer, yes, Aldris is very good. I think they should start bringing it over Sri Lanka.
Anil, of course, is not the only one who has studied in Riga. Still, many Sri Lankans continue to study in Riga. But now we are heading to Minister Said Premadas. His father was murdered by the Tamil Tigers. There is a sign at the entrance of the ministry, VVIP. The entrance not for very important people, but for very, very important people. The minister was one of the persons to help Jānis to find out the best way for using the donated money from Latvia after the tsunami tragedy.
And I also know Latvia consists of people who mean well, good-hearted, and swayed by the feelings of people even in other countries.
Our first destination is Mullaitivu, located in the north of Sri Lanka. 7 years ago, it was still controlled by the Tamil Tigers. Only in 2009, the forces of the government rescued and got back these territories from the Tigers. Until then, the Tamil Tigers had made and protected their own independent country in the northeast. They were provided with weapons by the Tamils of India, and it turned into a cruel battle for the separation from Sri Lanka. Historically, the natural inhabitants of Sri Lanka are Sinhalese, but due to British colonisation, thousands of Tamils arrived. Tamils were necessary for the Britons for the jobs in the coffee and tea plantations. During centuries, the amount of Tamils has significantly increased, and now they are 15% of the national population. 3/4 of Sri Lankans are Sinhalese. The further north, the bigger the poverty. Things you see here differ significantly from the things in the central part, eastern part, and the capital.
Tie var ir zoļi.
Jā, viņiem jau saule acīs spīd.
Tajā dienas aktīvākā karadarbības zona redzēt kontrolu postenis ik pēc 100 metriem ļoti daudz Sri Lankas armijas.
We must be very careful in the north of Sri Lanka. Still, the representatives of international organizations are not allowed to enter. Most likely, the army of Sri Lanka tries to hide the possible traces of the war crimes. Not only the Tamil Tigers were cruelly killed, but also their wives killed and raped. Even their children were killed. The Tamil Tigers were actually the first ones who used suicide belts filled with explosives. Their special suicide union, so-called Black Tiger Union, was dispassionate and ruthless. A long time before the Twin Towers were blown up, the truck filled with explosives crashed into the central building of the bank in 1996. More than 90 people died, 1,400 were injured. Here, in the surveillance video, you can see how the woman blows up herself in the polling station. Later on, they killed the president of Sri Lanka and former prime minister. Over the years, the Tamil Tigers destroyed Buddhist shrines, devastated the capital's airport, and took control of 15,000 square meters of island in the north and east. Tamil Tigers were the first terrorist group in the world who even had their own air force. There are human tragedies and thousands of killed people behind these stories. The Mullaitivu and its surroundings was the first place which was controlled by the Tamil Tigers. Here happened some of the most tragic fighting. You can still find some mines near the road. The rural life of Sri Lanka looks similar to Latvia, except the fact that here, instead of the strawberries, you would find some breadfruit or pineapple. half-naked boys are running around the yard carelessly. The little one just started crying buckets after I took a photo of him. The big white man scared the baby. Well, that's all right. Latvian sweets came as a compensation. Oh, here you go. Yay, Latvian sweets. That's from Latvia, Riga. Today we visit the family of Jānis. During the Civil War, her family was forced to move to the village nearby due to safety reasons. Her husband, father and mother were killed by gunfire of the Sri Lankan army in the last days of the war in 2009. 3-year-old Linera was wounded in her leg.
ഇതിൻ്റെ வந்து போர் முனியண்ட அப்படி இல்லை அவே இராணுவத்தினர் பயம் காரணமாக தங்களுக்கு பாதுகாப்புக்காக இறைவனைய தங்களுக்கு முன்னுக்கு போட்டு கொண்டு வந்தது எல்டிடி சாமடான கூடுதலாக பொதுமக்கள்லாம் கூடுதலாக பாதிக்கப்பட்டது. எங்களோட ஃபேமிலி வந்து சின்னாக்கள்லான எங்களோட குடும்பத்தில் அப்படி ஒன்றும் வாய்ப்பு பொறுத்தையில் சின்னாக்கள்லான மூத்தாளுக்கு 9 வயது மற்ற 8-9 வயது தானே. அப்போ சின்னாக்கள் உண்டு எங்களை அப்படி கேட்கல. வளர்ந்த பிள்ளைகள் இருந்த வீடுகள் அப்படி செய்தவங்க தான்.
After the war, the family returned back home. Now the girl is 10 years old. The mother tells that when the daughter was little, quite often she used to ask, "When will my leg grow back again?" But now she understands it will never happen. She now has a prosthetic limb. She can play with friends and she attends a local school in 5th grade.
இது மறக்கக்கூடிய சம்பவம் இல்லை, மன்னிக்கக்கூடிய மாதிரியும் இல்லை. நடத்தின எங்களோட வாழ்க்கையில் நான் இப்படி ஒரு சம்பவத்தை 43 வயது நான் இப்படி சின்ன பிள்ளைகளுடைய வாழ்க்கையெல்லாம் காலையில் அப்போக்க 3 வயது இன்றைக்கு 10 வயது நான் படாத கஷ்டம் எல்லாம் பட்டேன்.
When recalling the painful events in memory, she has tears in her eyes. Yes, the civilians are the ones who suffer the most during war. The Sri Lankan Foundation of Rural Development gave her a little money to buy chickens. Thanks to the chicks and the coconut plantation nearby, the family can survive, but only survive.
அன்பு மச்சாளே எந்தன் ஆசை மச்சாளே ஆசை மச்சாளே
To understand how the Tamils live now, more than 5 years after the war, we are going to meet the representative of the United Nations organizations in Mullaitivu. Mr. J. Moran points out that after the end of the war, with the help of money from the European Union and other donations, more than 30,000 new houses have been built. Slowly, life gets better.
We are rehabilitating internal roads, which are very main needs, but there are challenges also to get the gravels and all. But even though with the support of government agent and other relevant departments.
Still, the biggest problem is housing, a living place for people. Now we have arrived to visit the family of Jasmines. They are 5 people in a family and 2 children are disabled. With the money from international organizations, their house has been renovated. A sewing machine has been bought by the oldest daughter. The family has 15 sheep.
Cow milk selling. They have 15 cows. They are rearing the cows also. And here the bills today 27 litre they sold.
That would be approximately €10 per day, which makes the family in the countryside of Sri Lanka feel rather wealthy. Here in the countryside, children play with very simple toys. A large part of the people here did not support the Tamil Tigers. They supported the idea of an independent country, but not with the kind of methods that the Tigers used. The Tamil Tiger fighters arrived and asked families to give 1 boy to their army. If the parents did not agree, the boy was taken by force. It has been 5 years since the war is over, and so it is over for the enlistment of young men as well. However, not all families have a place to live after they return to their homeland. A lot of them still live in temporary homes.
Arsara ģimene, kas atrodas tepat mums līdzās, dzīvo šajā mājā, tepat aiz muguras. Ģimenei ir 5 bērni un viņi dzīvo visi vienā istabā. Un faktiski milzīga saspiestība, un pat grūti iedomāties, kā viņi izpildot mājas darbu.
Ir liela loterija, ir cilvēki, kas blakus sētā ir saņēmuši naudu no programmas un uzcēluši pilnīgi jaunu māju, kā mēs tikko redzējām. Un ir cilvēki, kas dzīvo blakus sētā un viņi vēl neko nav saņēmuši.
Viņi pārējie nāk, visi mums prasa, lai mēs viņiem palīdzam un uzceļam viņiem arī māju.
Man pašam ir ģimene, Sandiem arī ir ģimene, mums arī ir bērni un ja jādomā ir tādā perspektīvā, tad, teiksim, es nevaru iztēloties sevi, ka es dzīvotu šeit ar savu sievu un bērniem.
Vai, piemēram, iztēloties, ka tavs bērns dzīvo šeit, vakarā viņam jāpild mājas darbu, jūs visi 5, 7 cilvēki, 2 pieaugušie, 5 bērni dzīvot šādā te būdelē.
Teiksim, elektrība te vispār tā ir pat ne sekundāra terciāra problēma, vienkārši runa ir par kaut kādiem cilvēcīgiem sadzīves apstākļiem.
In the north and east of Sri Lanka, in places where the war took place, you still have a risk to step on a mine. UN employees do their best to decrease the risk. They have made a stage play to educate children about the risk of mines. We are now heading to watch one of these performances. When we arrive in the village, the primary school is empty and it feels like no one is coming to the performance. But then suddenly starts a loud drum signal as an invitation, and already in a moment the place is crowded. Actually, this is a really smart and useful job to do. The sun touches the horizon and we start our way back to the middle part of Sri Lanka. As it is in Asia, it gets dark very fast. The moment the sun disappears, it is complete darkness. It is obvious that a long time will be necessary for the north to recover from the war and to get a life similar to the south of Sri Lanka, which has now been favorited by the tourists and where the economy develops with huge steps. The story of northern Sri Lanka is complicated. The same to be said of the Tamils with their remaining dream of an independent country. Next in our trip will be the middle part of Sri Lanka to visit the tea plantations and factory tomorrow. You can see some fishermen on the road. Here they wade in the water until their armpits and then start fishing. Quite often some crocodiles attack. For example, a brother of one buddy of mine lost his legs. Luckily for him, he stayed alive. He is not fishing anymore though. While driving the van, one song from MIA started. Her real name is Matangi Arul Pragasa. She is one of the most popular personalities of Tamils from Sri Lanka. If you catch me at the border, I got visas in my name. If you come around here, I'll make them all day. I get one down in a second if you... Although she was born in London, she was only 6 months old when all her family moved to Jaffna, a city located in northern Sri Lanka. Her father was a revolutionary who was active in the youth movement of the Tamil Tigers. When MIA was 9 years old, her school was completely destroyed during the conflict. After this, the family moved back to London. During her rap career, she has publicly criticised the war in Sri Lanka, protecting the civil rights of the Tamil people.
Tas, kas krīt acīs, ir Šrilankas haotiskā un lēnā satiksme. Esam busiņā pavadījuši pusi dienas, taču nekur tālu neesam tikuši.
Nu ko, Džeki? Cik mēs 3 stundas braucam? 57 kilometri. Šodien kaut kā baigi lēnām iet visu.
Brauciens tuktiks, rekur. Lai tu viņu aptīt, rekur kā viņš te mainās. Tu var redzēt, klasiski satiksme kā šo notiek.
Brīžiem tā sajūta, ka tā satiksme tās tā kā skudru pūznes. Kaut kā viņi beigās izmainās un katrs uz to savu gala mērķi nokļūst.
Tuk-tuk good? Good? Good tuk-tuk. Okay.
The ones that really stop the traffic are the so-called tuk-tuks. The name comes straight from the sound of the motor. Tuk-tuk-tuk. In the tropical climate, it is all right to drive all year with the tuk-tuk. It is fast enough, has space enough, and has a roof that saves you from the sunlight or rain. In this hot weather, you can enjoy the wind running through.
Populārākais ražotājs ir Bajaj, un tas ir jaunais modelis. Var redzēt, ja? Pilnīgi tikko no rūpnīcas. Tas, kas ir jaunums, viņiem ir tagad skaitītāji. Pirms 10 gadiem nebija. Tā taksija zīme, tas nav samānīts. Viņam iekšā ir mīters. Re, kur te augšā var pafilmēt. Redz, re, kur ir skaitītājs kaut kur. Re, kur šitam čalim laba uzlīme priekšā. Bajaj bestiņš Sri Lanka. Nu, tas arī pasaka to, ko mēs tikko teicām. Yeah.
Čau, veči, kā jums iet? Jā, davai, maucam. Uz kurieni brauksim? Reku Bobs Mārlejs arī dodamies pie mūsu kāļa, paklausīties Bob Mārlej, ne?
Jā, Bobs Mārlejs ir Bobs Mārlejs arī Sri Lanka.
New tuk-tuks imported from India cost around €2,000. You can buy second-hand ones for a few hundred. It's just not possible to imagine Sri Lanka without tuk-tuks and motorbikes. The most common religion in Sri Lanka is Buddhism. Therefore, you see a lot of Buddhist temples on the road. Here are more than 6,000 temples. In the temples, you see monks in their orange clothing. Here they live their ascetic life. Once a monk asked me if I'm happy in Sri Lanka. He pointed out that people in Sri Lanka are poor, but still very happy. I suppose that their meaning of happiness strongly differs from the European one. Our driver goes to give honour to Buddha. In the morning we are back in our minivan on the road again, this time along a mountain serpentine. Our target is Norwood Tea Estate, tea plantation and factory. The history of the Ceylon tea has begun in 1849, when a Scottish guy, James Taylor, planted the first tea plantation. Now the tea plantations are located not only in the mountains, but also in the foothills and plains. The aroma and colour of the tea depends only from its origin.
Šī rūpnīca zīmīga ar to, ka te ražo tēju, kas ir augusi augstu, jo ir 3 dažādas tējas, tā kas augusi zemu, pa vidu un augšā, un augstu augusī tēja ir vislabākā. Hello, good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Thank you,
thank
you.
How are you? We are from Latvia?
From Latvian Television.
Sri Lankan tradition is, when they come, we welcome them to our houses or any other working place or anything. The first thing that we ask is, would you like to have a cup of tea?
We start our education of the tea producing process in the plantation, where we will watch the tea picking. Women stand in a row and pick leaves. Work starts early in the morning. Only the leaves from the top of the tree can be used for the tea, as well the buds which have barely opened. It is strongly documented how much of the tea each woman has gathered. Interesting that almost all of the women here are Tamils.
சுடுதண்ணி பாத்தா கொடுத்திருக்காங்க சத்யராணி புஷ்பராணி யோகபதி மாரியாஜி சசிகலா ஸ்ரீதேவி இந்தவல்லி தயானி ராஜகுமாரி செல்வராணி கண்ணகி கமலம் எனக்கு கொடுக்க இப்ப கொடுத்தாலும் வாங்கிடுவேன் இப்ப இந்த நிமிஷம் கொடுத்தாலும் வாங்கிடுவேன் கொடுக்க மாட்டீங்கறீங்களே சார்
When the head of the tea factory arrives, the tea gatherers step back. According to the caste or the status they have, they must be aside and give honour. When asked what kind of problems occur in this work, the tea gatherers only smile in the presence of their boss.
Tā ir Sri Lanka. Tās ir Sri Lankas milzīgās tējas plantācijas. Ļoti skaistas, ļoti pārsteidzošas, bet pārsteidz arī tas, ka pirms dažiem gadsimtiem te bija tikai tropu meži. Tas būtībā viss ir mākslīgi radīts.
Interesting that the history of Ceylon tea actually started with coffee in the 19th century. In the very beginning, the British colonisation could not manage with the increase of prime costs, so they started looking for new ways of income. Therefore, they cut out a big part of tropical forest and planted coffee. But due to some special plant diseases, the coffee business stopped. And then the tea time came. The black Ceylon tea, according to its quality, is the leader of the world market.
No rīta salasītās tējas lapas ir atvests tagad uz rūpnīcu. Jākrāmē ārā, jānes iekšā, varēs sākties tējas ražošana.
There are several processes in the tea factory. Drying, winding, fermenting, one more drying and then sorting.
Now this leaf is, now this is harvested, but we harvested yesterday. Then there is no place for the air to escape. So it has to escape through this leaf, right? So when it is escaping through the leaf, it takes out the moisture. So now when you put your handkerchief like this, yeah, you can see you put your thumb impression, you can see the thumb impression. And this leaf, you have to squeeze like ball, it will remain as it is.
Here the leaves are weighed and then delivered to the production room.
With the leaf here, now only the leaf is getting rolled. It cuts into a smaller particles, then again into the finer particles and another small rotor vein. So you can see when we go there, now this. So how we arrest the fermentation is sending this through a high temperature the airflow. So then all the enzymes are destroyed.
The final process, packing in the tea bags and then stored in the warehouse.
Un te tiek sapakot šādos te maisos, kā redzat, ražot Sri Lankā un tālāk tiek vēst uz biržu, un no biržas jau tālāk pārdot dažādām tējas kompānijām uz dažādām pasaules valstīm. Tea is good? Sri Lanka tea good?
Sri Lanka tea good.
Good tea, yeah, Sri Lanka.
Have a cup of tea early morning, right? And in between, what the doctors are recommending at least about 3 to 5 cups of tea, plain tea, without milk, without sugar. Hello to Latvia, Seriat Sri Lanka Teju.
We will continue our Sri Lanka story in a week. Then we will visit places that were touched by the tsunami 10 years ago. Also meet people that we haven't met in those 10 years. We will also see what has happened with the schools that were built by donations from Latvia. So see you in a week. We continue the Sri Lankan tour. After seeing the tea plantations, we are off to the province of Habantota in the southern part of the country. This area suffered tremendously during the tsunami a decade ago. As a result of the earthquake, whose epicenter was near Indonesia and created strong water pressure changes that came afterwards, the ocean waves were carried several thousand kilometers away The tsunami and the waves from the Indian Ocean hit 18 countries. More than 200,000 people were killed, 40,000 of them in Sri Lanka. How people cope with the tsunami's aftermath we will see later. We will start with a visit to two primary schools that were built after the tsunami in 2005 by funds donated from the people of Latvia. Back then, $18,000 were raised. At the school we are greeted by pupils with lotus leaves. For Buddhists, the lotus flower is a symbol of beauty, spirituality and eternity. It is associated with people who are doing their jobs whilst not awaiting a reward. Respectively, the people are altruists. With us is the head of the local government. The pupils are awaiting us, while dressed in traditional folk costumes. Others in school uniforms. A profound concert has been prepared, but first we have to light candles that are assembled around a metal rooster. The event begins with the Sri Lankan national anthem. We are welcomed as distinguished guests. The first performance is the traditional dance of Sri Lankans. One of the girls doesn't find the performance attractive. She starts to cry. After a while, the music disappears. But the performance continue, and songs are becoming increasingly more European and more upbeat. The local villagers have also come to see the concert. Most of them are poor peasants because this is a hot and dry area where it is difficult to earn a living. Nearby, a female is feeding her baby. The rest of the young ones are anxiously bustling over their father's head. The school director is grateful for our visit and the funds donated by Latvians.
We have no preschool. If we have no preschool, we have no future for our children. No any education for our children. I think your donation is very great. Thank you so much.
The teacher has been working here for 13 years. Her salary is not high, about €100 per month. In Sri Lanka, the salary is paid to teachers according to the number of pupils. That's about €5 for each student. The teacher asks for help to build a fence around the school because through the recess the students run on the road where motorcycles are speeding.
මගේ නම චතුරිකා. මගේ පෙර පාසල කැකුළු පෙර පාසල. මගේ මේ පෙර පාසලේ වැඩ කටයුතු කරන් යනකොට තියෙන අඩුපාඩු බොහොමයක් තියෙනවා. ඒව තමයි දරුවන්ට ඉගෙන ගන්න වාඩි වෙලා කරන්න ඩෙස්ක් සහ පුටු ඕන. ඒ වගේම තමයි.
Children are happy. The event is over. We are also glad because it is hard to endure the enormous heat. We are fully perspired from just sitting and watching the concert.
We are very happy to be here today, even it's very hot for us. We will show this movie and try to invite people that they could get more support, and I believe we can have those wall around and some other things which are necessary. Sveiciens! Sveiciens! Latvijai! Latvijai! No Sri Lankas! No Sri Lankas!
Thank you.
While bidding farewell, a couple of selfies.
யாழ்ப்பாணம் என்று சொன்னால் தேன் சுவை ஊறும் பனை வளமும் புகையிலையும் ஒன்றாக வளரும் கந்தனின் நல்லூர் கண்டு.
While driving towards the other school, a nice surprise. The casual Sri Lanka one-lane road turns into 3 wide lanes with scarce transportation. The answer turns out to be simple. The previous president, Mahinda Rajapaksa, who was in charge for 9 years, was born in a small provincial town, Werakatia. Occasionally, he flew from the capital to visit his mother and other relatives, so he ordered a normal road to be built. The subordinates slightly overdid it. Also, the second primary school that is called Kokulin Perapasala and has been built in the Andravava village awaits us with the same hospitality. It turns out the municipal housing minister, Sandijs Premadas, has called the local government official. It was he who once helped to find the right places where the primary school renewal was most urgent. In this 10-year-old film, we can see how the school looked like. Back then, there was a magnificent opening ceremony. Within the past 10 years, the building hasn't changed. If only the colour is washed out, and the printed Latvian flag is no longer visible. Students are just as positive and energetic as before, and with great interest and browsing the map to see where Latvia is. They listen as I talk about our country.
Sri Lanka, Latvian, Sri Lanka. We have winter and there is a lot of snow on -20, -25. We can ski and...
Ocean and sea become ice. No water, hard ice.
The school has nearly 30 students.
Skolas jau te bija arī pirms tam. Vienkārši tās ēkas viņas bija ļoti, ļoti vienkāršas un mācībām neatbilstošas. Bet šīs skolas jau atbilst tam, kā lai saka, vidējam standartam, kādas Sri Lankā ir sākuma skolu celtnes.
Viens ir tas, ka arī šī attīstības palīdzības naudas kaut kur aiziet mistiskos kaut kādos projektos, bet foršākais ir tas, ka tu šeit var atbraukt, ja, pēc tiem 9 gadiem, un tu redzi, ka viss ir, viss notiek, ja.
Nu jā, un protams, ka tur var kaut kādas dot vai naudas, varbūt vai kaut ko, bet skola un izglītība, ja, tas nenoliedzami, man liekas, ir tās lietas, kas ir svarīgas jebkurā sabiedrībā, ja. Cilvēki mācās, gūst zināšanas un ir prieks redzēt, ka vienkārši tās skolas te stāv un viņi to arī dara.
It is indeed gratifying that Latvia too didn't stay aside and helped Sri Lanka. Both of the primary schools here in southern Sri Lanka are working, and only good words can be heard about Latvia.
Latvia good!
අද දවසේ අපිට මෙතන ආරම්භක ළමයි ගෙන්න ගන්න බැරි වුණේ මොකද මේ දවස්වල වාර විභාගේ පැවැත්වෙන නිසා.
The heat has washed away our appetite, so this time we kindly refuse. As a gift, the Sri Lankan cucumbers are given to us. These cucumbers here are the size of Latvian marrows.
Lēnām krāmēsim mantas un taisīsimies tālāk. Mums vēl tāls ceļš priekšā jābrauc uz piekrasti, kur skārus tsunami, ja?
Jā, dosimies uz austrumu piekrasti, kur bija vislielākais tsunami trieciens, vislielākie postījumi.
Thirukkovil was a village that received the hardest blow in the tsunami 10 years ago. Overall, the natural disaster in Sri Lanka took nearly 40,000 lives. Almost 2,000 were from here. Shortly after the event, Jānis came to Thirukkovil to live here for 2 years and to help the Sri Lankans recover from the catastrophe. Now, 10 years after the event, he returns to the village with a filming crew.
Gan šajā pusē visas mājas bija pilnībā sagrautas. Ja?
Pēc tsunami vidi.
Jā, jo tsunami notika no paša rīta, tā bija brīvdiena, cilvēki mājās ēda brokastis, atpūtās un tad vienkārši pēkšņi nāca tsunami vilnis un cilvēki saka, ka bija 5 līdz 7 metri. Tas spēks katrā bija milzīgs un mēs vienkārši varam redzēt, ja, kas no tādām normālām betona ķieģeļu mājām, kas ir palicis pāri. Un ja mēs apskatāmies uz otru pusi, tad principā paradīze, ja, kā visās pastkartēs par Sri Lanku, vienkārši fantastiska vieta, kur varētu sapņot un dzīvot. Perfekti sērfa viļņi, kokosa palmas.
One of the first people I meet on the coast is the teacher Kamal Thevi. She says that now only the poor are living by the ocean. Those who are able to go further have done so. Although 10 years have passed, people are still afraid of the ocean. The event of that day is still very vivid in the memory.
I was working at the school at that time. I was doing some practice with the students, and I heard people shouting and running, and one boy came from the shore and said, telling, "She is coming inside." I decided it was the end, so we were actually praying. I did not tell the students, but I told them, keep your eyes closed, and I was praying. Really, I was praying. It was last prayer I was giving because the water was that much furious.
Acīm redzot, tie ir cilvēki, kas šai mājā ir dzīvojuši, un viņi tepat ir apglabāti. Very young person.
What's the name?
Madhushia.
It's a girl or?
Yeah, girl.
And very young. She was 16 years old.
And we saw bodies coming, and all the things, even the funny thing is I saw a lot of money in a bottle. At that time we couldn't think anything, just saving our life.
Hello. You remember me?
Yeah.
I remember you. You look the same.
Near here lives Vinayagamurthy. He is one of the few who returned to live in the former property, but the new house was built next to the destroyed one. Unfortunately, the family recognized the coming tragedy only after the screams from their neighbors. When they stepped outside the house, they saw the ocean eddy. Then came the first tsunami waves.
சில மரம் அப்படியே சரிஞ்சு கொண்டு வந்து விழுந்தேன் பக்கத்தில். நான் என்ன இதுவும் போயிடுமெண்டு தான். இது கொஞ்சம் ஸ்ட்ராங், அந்த மரம் ஸ்ட்ராங்காக இருந்ததால் இந்த மரம் கழியலை. ரெண்டொரு மரம் பக்கத்துலேயும் கழிஞ்சது. மாமரங்கள் எல்லாம் முறிஞ்சு விழுந்தது.
When the first waves ended, the second one approached the mainland, an enormous block of water. Other family members had already gone away. His mother was too old to move quickly. Therefore, he decided to stay with his mother. The water wall literally fell over the house. Mother was washed away. He managed to hold on to a coconut palm's apex.
ஆபத்து தானே, அப்போ நம்மளை தப்பி கொள்வோம்ன்ட்டு எதில் இருந்தாலும் பிடிச்சி தப்புவோம்ன்றதுதான் அது வேறு. அந்த மரம் ஏறுவோம்ன்ற பழக்கம் வந்து இல்லை.
He escaped through this way.
This direction.
The fence was not very strong, so he made broke the fence a little and escaped through this way.
The palm still reminds him of the tragic events of that day.
அம்மா போன பிறகு பார்த்தா இவ்வளவு தண்ணியாலே ஏழாத கட்டம், கழுத்துக்கு மேலே தண்ணி வந்த நேரம் தான் நான் தண்ணியில் இப்படி ஆடி கொண்டிருக்கிற நேரம்.
He left the rubble from the previous home to remind him how strong nature's force can be.
அதாவது நான் அந்த சுனாமியால் பாதிக்கப்பட்ட அந்த மனநிலையிலிருந்து மாறி ஒரு பழைய நிலைக்கு ஒரு நல்ல நிலைக்கு வந்திருக்கிறது தான் ஒரு முக்கியமான நிகழ்வாக சொல்லலாம். மற்றது குடும்பம், பிள்ளைகள் எல்லாரோடையும் சேர்ந்து இருக்கிறேன் இந்த சுனாமியில்.
For the next 2 years after the tsunami, Jānis, as a GLEN volunteer, together with colleagues from Germany and Poland, organised workshops to tell local residents the facts that the tsunami won't repeat. To visualise a natural disaster, they resembled water movements in an ordinary bowl of water and explained how a tsunami originates. Vinayagamurthy says that one thing in life has changed. Although it's clear that he is still mourning the death of his mother, he now perceives life much more positively.
மற்றது குடும்பம், பிள்ளைகள் எல்லாரோடையும் சேர்ந்து இருக்கிறேன். இந்த சுனாமியில் போயிருந்தால் இந்த ஒரு வாழ்க்கை இல்லை தானே. பிள்ளைகளோடு சேர்ந்து சந்தோஷமாக இருக்கிறேன்ன்றது ஒரு பெரிய விஷயம். எதுவும் சாமான அதுகள் நடக்குதுண்டு அந்த நேரம்னா பயம், ஆட்கள் பெருசாக இல்லை. இப்போ என்ன நிலைமையில வீடுகள் இருக்குதுன்னு பார்க்குறது வந்துக்கிறோம். அடுத்த நாள் வந்து ஒரு காமணத்தியால் மரமணத்தியால் நின்றுட்டு போயிடுவோம். பயம் அந்த நேரமும் அந்த வதந்தி அடுத்த சுனாமி வருது.
Okay, Morty, Nandri, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Yes.
In 2005, near the Thirukkovil village, I met Kapil Raju, a boy whom the tsunami took both his household and parents.
Yeah.
Overall, the tsunami destroyed more than 100,000 households in Sri Lanka. Even now, 10 years after the tsunami, Kapil Raja's sister lives further from the ocean coast and doesn't want to return to the old place.
Viņš gan pats vairāk Šrilankā nedzīvo, viņš kaut kur Līču valstīs strādā, bet viņš bija puika, kuru es satiku un filmēju pēc tsunami 2005. Gadā. Viņš zaudēja abus vecākus un viņa māja bija pilnībā sagrauta. Un šodien mēs apciemosim viņa māsu.
Labdien!
Labdien!
Kapil Raja's sister resembles that on the fateful day that the family didn't pay any notice to the different sound of the waves. The father was a fisherman and was preparing to go into the ocean when a wave approached fast.
This was her house, so I took some photos in 2005, and this is her brother, right?
All members of the family were carried away with the wave. Further, it was a game of luck. The water was very muddy. It was difficult, impossible to swim. I was looking for where to cling on to so that the water doesn't drown me. Youngsters and elderly people suffered the most. They were helpless in front of the huge force of the water. On December the 26th, she has a day of mourning. This day commemorates her parents, husband, and the other brother, those who were close and died in the tsunami. Thirukkovil village doesn't have a special memorial for the tsunami victims, so they all go to a Hindu temple. There, by the way, cricket is being played today. Cricket is the most popular team sport in Sri Lanka. We don't have any understanding about it, nor any skills. When we engage ourselves, it becomes clear that it is all not so simple. In the middle of the village's poor homes appear also very proud ones. This in turn is a local supermarket. As a great surprise to us, in the village centre we spot a small hind.
Stāsts par viņu vienkārši kaut kādi zemnieki viņu atrada džungļos ar savainojumu un atnesa uz ciematu. Tā viņš te ir pieredze. Viņi baro dzīvo un tad viņš vairāk laiku pavada templī. Praktiski sanāk tāds svētais priedzi. Bet vai ir tik daudz krekeru, viņam ir labi, es nezinu.
Near the coastline, the fishermen are preparing for the next day's fishing. Tsunami waves almost completely shattered the coastal boats. At the time, the European Union helped to provide newer ones, as it is important for the locals not to be left without the daily livelihood. After the tsunami, many countries, including Latvia, together with international aid organisations, rushed to help Sri Lanka. Overall, Sri Lanka received several billion euros. However, the organisations lacked the capacity to use the funds properly. For example, the European Union money was used to hastily rebuild coastal homes. Only no one could predict that after the horrible event, the locals would not return. House renovation and road construction, it was a key priority in the Cooperation Assistance Programme, so says the European Union's representative in Sri Lanka.
We have built around 20,000 houses to help displaced families to resettle back in their areas. This is a precondition for rebuilding their lives, rebuilding their communities.
What can't be denied is that the tsunami aid money contributed to an infrastructure development. If a decade ago, Thirukkovil's waste was thrown in the street and burned, now a modern dump site is used. It was created from the European funds.
Šī ir viena no pirmajām atkritumu izgāstuvēm Šrilankā, bet žoks šeit ir tāds, it kā te atrastos cietums. Hello? How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
Hi. I'm Jānis.
The very challenging part and what we actually need is that the people provide the waste, they segregate it so that we can put it in the landfill. And this public education and awareness raising, this is a process that takes many, many years.
What happened, there are 6 cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 6 days collection. So Monday to Saturday there are collections. So first day, Monday comes to the first cell.
Composting takes 8 to 10 weeks. Then everything is put in bags and sold to farmers.
So this is initially invented in Japan. This is called Fukuoka method. So that is the replication of the landfill that we have in Japan. So the same model. Here we can see some sort of the piling setup. You mean the gas vent? So yes, gas vent.
Except the new dumps and other assistant projects, in the past 10 years, all of the 183 tsunami-destroyed schools were renovated. An early warning system has been set up, which is equipped with speakers in the event if a new tsunami is coming. Experts say that today, in the recurrence of a natural disaster, it would carry away considerably less lives, since now they would know where to run and what to do. However, it is a small consolation for the Thinna Karanayagam Krishna Pillai family. Unlike the others, Krishna Pillai family has never been able to recover the joy of living. They lost their little boy. Her husband had gone that day to nearby Batikolo. The wife was home and ran out of the street with her son, but the water washed the boy away. On the next day, he was found dead. The family, like other families, lived for 2 years in a temporary dwelling that was built from the international donor money. With interest, the family remembers the photo I have taken nearby the house almost 10 years ago.
The daughter very big now, but they did not change very much. It's you, right?
Over the past 7 years, they have lived here, but the house has not been completely built, because the family does not have enough funds. Although we suffered hard from the tsunami, we do not receive any assistance now. The house renovation was started, but there was a disagreement between the builders and organizers that funded the construction, so the construction was suspended. This family's example shows that the assistance after disasters has to be accurate, because the assistance from many countries is followed by a relatively huge sum of money. But over the years, the assistance has changed. The residents have already become accustomed to the assistance and are now asking, why is no one helping us anymore? We have 2 daughters. Our society regulates that a family who wants to marry off a daughter must build a house for the new family. We cannot afford it. We can even finish our own house. The tsunami devastated our lives. Even now I have nightmares at night. Even the sound of the ocean waves frighten me. I cannot forget it at all.
Tom, you remember me? Oh, yes. Certainly. She told me. She told me the other day.
Do you remember my name?
Janis.
Vinayagamurthy knows English very well. He managed to work abroad and earn money to build a second home for his daughter. Now she lives with her husband. His own house wasn't affected by the tsunami because the house was situated quite a distance from the ocean. However, he himself barely escaped.
Unforgettable day. Almighty God help me. Right? Otherwise I would have gone. I would have washed away with the water. Matter of not even 50 yards, right? So I was going. Because I must tell you how the Lord saved me from my death. Yeah, I was running a small fancy shop, right? My wife was looking after it. She was running that retail. A meeting, right? So I was a teacher.
That day, Vinayagamurthy quickly went to warn his wife and others as well. At first, no one believed him because the weather was calm and not a cloud on the horizon. After a while, people came running and screaming into the village and the panic began. The teacher says that 10 years is a long time. However, it hasn't healed all the wounds.
The life of the people after tsunami, after 10 years, what I see is somewhat they have improved. So they are in better position now. So they have started forgetting the tragedy and pain. So they have overcome with all your assistance and your guidance.
10 years have passed since the tsunami. For many locals, it was a great tragedy that will remain in memory till the end of their lives. But life goes on. Many countries around the world, including Latvia, expressed solidarity with Sri Lanka and didn't turn their backs. This is the right way, because today's world is small, and no one knows when he himself will be in need of help.